just talk away.
Hello. So one of the things I didn't do was finish up the story with you about when I decided not to take any of the jobs and just put myself on a sabbatical. And then I set out to ask and answer, to do those 5 things: lick my wounds, recover from burnout, unlearn workaholism, wake up slowly, and then just kind of get really clear about what wants to happen now. These series of questions that I ask now all my clients and help them to get into the kind of what I call depth of inquiry and make that a way of life, right? Is what wants to happen now in this moment, what wants my attention, where's the aliveness, what wants to be felt, and what's my best next move, given all that. So I put myself through that process, and in the process, I also was in executive outplacement, and my coach and advisor in executive outplacement, based on some of the things we were talking about and the fact that I'd had coaches when I was at Abbott, that I'd asked, that I'd advocated for coaches for my peers, for my direct reports, and had done a lot of that already. She even implied maybe you should be a coach or at least go get some coach training. Yeah. Well, I ended up going into coach training in part because of her nudge, but not to become a coach. I planned to become more coach-like and re-enter corporate America after my 9 months. Okay. That was my plan. But the coach training turned me on my head. It turned me on my head. And there was one activity in one of the 5 long weekends of training, and then there was a lot of in-between stuff, and then of course there was 9 more months of very rigorous stuff for certification. But it was like a trust fall kind of thing, which, anybody who's been in corporate or leadership has done trust falls, right? I couldn't fall. I was the only one in the room that wouldn't fall. I realized in that moment, I was like, I thought I did a lot of work, but I won't trust myself, and I won't trust them, and I have a major issue with this, and I was devastated. I knew it was a problem, and I needed to do some work on that. And so there was just a lot of different revelations, but in the process, the big thing that I realized was, I remembered little Alec. Remember little Alec? Yeah. And I realized, you know what I really want right now? Because to go back into corporate America where I was at the level I was, I knew that was going to be, my boss said to me, one of the things she said to me was, she says, when you get to this level in the company, you're on call 24/7 and you sell your soul to the company. Yeah. And I looked at her and I said, not this person, not ever. And if that makes me a rebel or a maverick or belligerent or not retainable, fine. And of course, then they did let me go. Yeah. And that was what was true for me. And so as I'm considering stepping right back onto the same path, it kind of didn't make any sense. Yeah. And when I'm having honest conversations with myself, fierce, meaningful, honest conversations with myself, and the coaching process is helping me dig deeper and get more skillful, how can I know that and not honor what I know? Yeah. And so the big challenge for me was, I realized, wow, what I really want is to be the anchor parent to our 4 boys. I want one of us to be home with them more than we are now. And what we're doing now is working 14, 16, 18-hour days, or we're always in divide and conquer, you and me, and we can only have so much of our au pairs, and that just wasn't acceptable to me anymore. I was like, I don't know how to be a masterful mother in the way I want to be, the way I want to parent my child so that every single one of them feels like Alec, no matter what, whether they've had a cancer diagnosis or not, and the masterful executive at the same time. There was a point where I could juggle this for a long time, and when I was here, I never felt guilty that I wasn't here. When I was here, I never felt guilty that I wasn't here. I was very present. Until there was enough divergence in the values and in what was being asked and where I was in my stage of life and where I was in my stage of my career, that it was less and less compatible. And a lot of people are willing to make these trade-offs. And I'd been making trade-offs for 20 years, and I was fine with that. Until I wasn't. Yeah. And there isn't a day goes by, every single day I miss my corporate life. Yeah. I miss a lot about it. The social system, the money, the privilege, the travel, all this international travel was very exciting. Projects with clear beginnings, middles, and ends. it was being around people who are smart and educated and talented and ambitious and bring their A game all the time. It's like so cool. It's very exciting. I miss it every day, still to this day, and I've been out of that for 15 years. Yeah. And I have no regrets.
Yeah.
My marriage is thriving, 27 plus years. My family's thriving. Every one of my boys is thriving. They like us. They come home. They bring their friends. Their friends like us. It's like heaven on earth. Yeah. And so, yeah, when I'm here, I yearn for this. It's real. And I get to feel that. Sometimes I even want to cry a little bit. And then I do my mantra, go to the water. Whether I go in the pool and float and just feel, or I let the tears flow, or I stand in the shower and I just feel. Yeah. And after 5, 10, 15 minutes, I get back to, oh, I'm really blessed. Yeah. I'm proud of myself. I've made some amazing choices. I'm present, I'm alive, I'm thriving. Mm-hmm. The people I touch are thriving. I like me, they like me. Wow. Not where I started.
No.
Not where I started. Mm-hmm. This person would probably be a much better manager. I was okay. I think I was pretty good. This person would be a much better manager. But I brought that management into my home. And with all our family's moves and you know, everything that worked at work works here.
Yeah.
And vice versa. So, you know, I say, oh, I could have, my husband, my friends, you should be running a division, you should be running a company, you know. Yeah. The last job, 200 people, $180 million budget, you know, another 100 contractors, $75 million budget. I was pretty good at it, lots of room for improvement, for sure. And, you know, how many people get to do that, right?
Yeah, not many.
Right? And maybe just because I can run something or, you know, have the education or some experience, doesn't mean I should. Mm-hmm. My mantra now is, not in this lifetime. That's for another lifetime or another person. Yeah. Woo.